Kina Ha was a Jedi Master that was the only Kaminoan to ever be discovered as Force sensitive on her homeworld and be able to use her immense Force powers to become a Jedi Knight. Unfortunately, Kina Ha was seen as a disgusting abomination on her home planet because of her ability to use the Force, completely casting her out of Kaminoan society. So, I'm going to break down the full tragic story of Kina Ha, the only Kaminoan Jedi to ever live. Before we get into it, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for more awesome Star Wars lore content. Only a small percentage of you have hit the big red button, so make sure to force choke it if you enjoy the video. Kina Ha was a female Kaminoan who was born long before the Clone Wars began as part of an experiment performed by the scientists and doctors on Kamino. The doctors of the Dark Water World created Kina Ha through selective breeding and intense genetic manipulation in order to make her body withstand the rigorous task of long-term deep space exploration. Because of Kamino's location outside of the main galaxy, the Kaminoans likely created her as a sentient version of an unmanned probe, purely for exploration purposes. Let me know down below if you think this is a good method of expanding your planet's reach, or is it completely cruel? Unfortunately, however, many factors came together which led to these long-term deep space exploration missions never being carried out, leaving Kina Ha as the only Kaminoan with drastically different personality traits and long-term endurance. These factors already made the other Kaminoans on the planet dislike Kina Ha, but they could get over it because she was of course still a member of their species. Unfortunately though, not long after her deep space missions were cancelled, Kina Ha was placed back into the main population of Kamino, where she discovered that she was Force sensitive and was able to manipulate the Force in ways that she had never seen before from any of her fellow Kaminoans. This absolutely shocked Kina Ha, but she continued to use the Force anyway. As the news of the first Force sensitive ever to come from their extragalactic waterworld began to spread, Kina Ha began to draw intense criticism from her fellow brothers and sisters on Kamino. Her peers viewed Force sensitivity as a severe defect to the Kaminoan anatomy, and because of course the Kaminoans were perfectionists in everything that they created, they wanted to completely eliminate it from Kina Ha. To do this, the scientists on the Dark World planned to have Kina Ha re-educated, which really was just another way of saying to completely remove and brainwash her to ensure that she would never again connect with the Force for as long as she remained on the cold, wet surface of the Kaminoan platform cities. Rather than face this disturbing fate, she quickly fled from her homeworld, hoping to never face the same hatred and suffering ever again. During her journeys off-world, she eventually came across the rogue Trandoshan Jedi Master, Kras Dok. Master Kras Dok was exiled from the Jedi Order when he departed Coruscant and began on a journey by himself into the far reaches of the Outer Rim, causing him to lose contact with the Jedi Council completely. Eventually, Kina Ha began to train under the rogue Jedi Master in the ways of the Force, strengthening her connection to it and her skills as a peacekeeper. Master Kras Dok chose to train Kina Ha as a Jedi Guardian, which is a type of Jedi who focused deeply on peacekeeping through lightsaber combat and was a light side mirror to a Sith warrior. The other two branches of the Jedi Order were the Jedi Consular, who focused more deeply on the Cosmic Force rather than lightsaber combat and the Living Force, and then of course the Jedi Sentinels, who struck a balance between the other two ways of thinking. Eventually, Kina Ha's training progressed to the point where her master believed that she was ready to construct her own lightsaber. The Trandoshan Jedi guided his apprentice through the process, where she did eventually create a bright icy blue lightsaber with a metallic hilt. Kina and her master eventually grew very close, with Master Kras Dok teaching her absolutely everything he knew from all of his training and time spent at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Not long after this, her master deemed her to have undergone every challenge and every trial that a Jedi should face, granting her the rank of Master. Of course, this rank was not official because Master Kras Dok was still exiled from the Jedi Order at this point, but the two treated each other as equals in the Force after this point. Unfortunately, Master Kras Dok eventually died around the time of the great struggles between the Mandalorians and the Jedi Order, leaving Kina Ha to travel to distant areas of the galaxy all alone, with the memory of her master still living on inside of her mind every day. Eventually, Kina Ha did come into contact with the Jedi Council, where they recognized her unusual training as being proper and granted her the true rank of Jedi Master. After gaining this rank from the Jedi Council, Master Ha only contacted the Jedi Order again about 4 or 5 times throughout the many centuries of her long life. Soon after being granted the rank of Master, Kina Ha took up temporary residence on the watery planet of Vorusku. Master Ha lived in a massive city called Volcano City, which as you can probably guess was built on the site of a previously active volcano. One mysterious day while on the waterworld, Kina Ha received a jolt of energy as a terrifying force vision engulfed her mind, where she was able to see a future where the cloners of Kamino would create an army for the dark side of the Force. After receiving this horrific vision of dark side soldiers rising from the depths, Kinoha rushed back to Kamino in an instant, hoping to disprove her own Force vision. When she returned home, she found no unusual presence at all on the Rainy World, and of course didn't see a dark side army yet because it hadn't been created. At this point, we're still hundreds of years before the Clone Wars. Master Ha was so scared by this vision that she decided to delve deep into the murky oceans of Kamino and live below them on the seafloor inside of a sealed off outpost. She eventually discovered the ruins of the Sleechy Canyon outpost deep beneath the ocean, where she lived out a terribly lonely life in absolute solitude. The amount of dedication and torture that she put herself through just to ensure that the dark side did not rise is truly amazing. Let me know if you think Kinoha's solitude would be even worse than Obi-Wan's. At least Obi-Wan was able to keep himself sharp by fighting Tusken Raiders. To pass the time, the only thing that Kinoha had available to her was a vast array of human holovids, which of course weren't infinite. Over the decades of isolation living on the ocean floor of Kamino, Master Ha witnessed the Kaminoan cloners produce many different clone armies, some human, some not, which in her opinion was very foolish. Because of all the different attempts the Kaminoans made at creating a clone army, Master Ha was unable to determine which one was the dark side army from her terrifying vision. The savage dark side army from her Force vision was of course the clone army of Jango Fett, who Master Ha had no idea that Darth Sidious was actually behind. Eventually, the tragedy of Order 66 took place, destroying the Jedi Order and the once Great Republic with it. After Master Ha felt the immense disturbance in the Force that came as a result of Order 66, she immediately knew what had taken place and rushed out of hiding on Kamino, being rescued by the smuggler Nyreen Volan. Nyreen Volan smuggled Kinoha along with the clones of the Yayak squad and Commander Levitt out of the danger of the firm grip of the Empire, taking her to the lush green Clan Scarada sanctuary called Mount Kiramarut. Once she arrived at the outpost of Clan Scarada, Master Ha was met with a deep hatred from Cal Scarada, who of course despised both the Kaminoans and the Jedi. Cal Scarada did however let Master Ha live on his green farming sanctuary if she would agree to let them take DNA and gene samples from her. She very quickly agreed to this and was welcomed into the family of Clan Scarada, which now consisted of Cal Scarada, the Yayak squad, Commander Levitt, Padawan Elizabeth, Master Arla Ganzai, and so many more. The only reason Master Ha agreed to DNA sample taking was because she hated the cloning that her own species had done over the last centuries. Clan Scarada hoped to use the DNA to program clone trooper DNA to have a similar lifespan to the Kaminoans. While most Kaminoans could only bear to live on water worlds just like their home, Master Ha greatly enjoyed the hot sunshine sinking into her pale skin and chose to sit outdoors for great periods of time on the Clan Scarada farms. Eventually, however, Master Ha's usefulness to the clan ran out, but they decided not to kill her off. Instead, she made contact with rogue Jedi Jyn Altis, who agreed to take her into a secret Jedi refuge, which he called the Artesian Jedi Order. So that is the tragic story of Kinoha, the only Kaminoan Jedi Master to ever live. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.